So welcome back to another Titans card review. And in this one, you're getting my hair in its natural Titanic curly state. So enjoy this free bonus on my sleepy baby life hair. And we got two new Titans to talk about in this one, Death Knight and Warlock. And man, one of these in particular I think is pretty nutso. But we're kicking it off here with the Primus in Death Knight, a new 8-mana 7/9 Titan that reads, after this uses an ability, discover a card with that rune. So exactly what everybody was hoping for, more Death Knight discover cards. I think this class is just the discover stuff class. These three abilities, as you can see, are rune coded. So if you want a frost card in this effect, you can pick Runes of Frost. The next spell you cast costs 3 less and has spell damage +3. So that could be something you want to use right away, just to play a 3-mana spell, for instance, take a little bit better swing on board, maybe just push some damage, etc. But also keep in mind, this does not say this turn, so you can actually bank this up for next turn as well, and maybe, for instance, use it on like a bigger spell for whatever reason that's more valuable to you in that case. You've also got Runes of the Unholy. This one will summon you 2/3/3 undead with Taunt and Reborn. So a way to get some bodies on board and potentially protect your Primus especially well from like on-board trades, because that's kind of 4 taunts, and they're also protected behind that Reborn, so the opponent can't just like use an easy board clear. They might still have to, attack through the Reborn versions as well. So potentially getting you the guaranteed value of the Primus next turn, getting a second ability in many matchups that are gonna have a hard time pushing through all that. And then finally, Runes of Blood will destroy an enemy minion, and then this minion, referring to the Primus, and your hero gain its health. So if you have one big threat on board you need to deal with, your opponent's got an 8/8 there, you just wipe it out with Runes of Blood. You gain a ton of health yourself, which is awesome. And the Primus, maybe he goes up to quick 17 health, making it really difficult for the opponent to kill. I actually think Runes of Blood is what makes this card kind of insane, because even if there's not great targets on board, just hitting a 5/5, even if there's like a couple 3/3s left behind or whatever, and you don't get a good board clear out of it, it's still going to make your Primus an absolute monster to deal with for so many decks, and you're going to be healing up off of it as well. Gaining that life means that even if you leave some stuff behind, you've got a little bit more wiggle room and time, particularly perhaps in a blood deck with lots of other survivability to go with it. So that could be a really cool way to kick off the Primus and then hope to extract more value over time. Now I will say, these abilities aren't maybe as like universally crazy and big as some of the abilities we're going to see, like literally the next card. I think it's going to destroy all minions on board instead of just one or whatever. And it's got this crazy long-term value proposition, but I think these Primus effects are fine. Like, they're pretty interesting. Particularly slower Death Knights can afford to play 8-mana cards like this that give you, a defensive wall or a little bit of removal in a can. And this does not have rune restrictions, you'll note, on itself. It can be played in any deck, of course, given its kind of tri-rune status. So, pretty interesting, pretty solid card. Maybe not like as bombastic or flashy as some of the other Titans for sure, but I think 3 pretty okay options, and probably one of these is going to line up on a great turn here or there, and it's going to feel like Primus worked really well and has a pretty high likelihood to go for 2 different abilities. And then not to mention just getting an extra card back in hand. Take that blood card if you need, defense. Take Unholy if you need a little more aggression, or take Frost if you just need some damage. You may not even care about the ability right now necessarily, but just setting up for, what's in hand and sort of the game down the road. So I think the Primus, yet again, looks like a pretty good, if not totally crazy or anything, but pretty good Titan. So our next card here is Sargeras the Destroyer, and I've been waiting to see this guy in Hearthstone for freaking ever. I am super excited to see him showing up here. He is the new Titan for Warlock, a 9-mana 6/12 Demon Titan. With Battle Cry, open a portal that summons 2 3/2 imps each turn. And as you can see here above me, the portal in this case will just be called the Twisting Nether. And it reads, at the end of your turn, summon 2 3/2 imps. So you can see that each turn here is referencing an end of turn effect. So when you play Sargeras, you're going to get the 6/12 and a couple 3/2s on board, and then also one of these 3 abilities, all of which actually call back to and reference the Twisting Nether portal. You've got Inferno, which will summon you 2 6/6 Infernals from the Twisting Nether. Now, that's just a one-time thing. It doesn't mean you're going to get, 2 Infernals every time or anything off the portal. You just get kind of 2 bonus 6/6s alongside your normal 3/2s. You've got 2 of the Void, which will send all other minions into the Twisting Nether. So that means Sargeras will survive, but all the other minions are going to get wiped out. And that is a poof style effect. It's been confirmed. So things like Death Rattles will not activate. It's not destroying the minions. They're getting transported into the Twisting Nether. So they won't generate corpses, that sort of stuff. Won't be in res pools. And then finally, we've got Legion Invasion. Future demons summoned from the Twisting Nether, again, referencing your portal, have +2 health and taunt. So that would make your imps 3/4 taunt minions when summoned instead of just 3/2s, which actually does go a really long way, I think, towards making them much better. Because instead of just kind of being bodies on board that don't make an impact very often, like if your opponent has some stuff and you summon 3/2 imps, they can just ignore your imps and hit you in the face and kill you. Now with taunt, like, they're more immediately impactful each time they get summoned. They might require a little bit more interaction from the opponent, which I think can definitely help. We've had so many of these 3/2 endless imp portal effects, I guess twice, really. Niru and the Warlock quest, Lakari Sacrifice in Journey to Unguro, neither of which really ever got there. We've tried so hard with the quest so many times. But never really a meta deck. I do think, that said, though, this could definitely help the imps make more of an impact, even if it's just a couple turns, just some taunts in the way. Can be a big deal, helping you stabilize after stabilizing with Sargeras. And also of note, if you play Inferno after playing Legion Invasion, of course, those Infernals will be demons summoned as well, so those would also get +2 health and taunt. They would be 6/8 taunts. But remember, it's future demons, so you have to play Legion Invasion first, then the next round of imps, and any future Inferno also getting impacted. Now, noteworthy, as I said, these all tie into the Twisting Nether itself, which means if you cheat Sargeras into play, his battle cry will not activate. This is not on reveal effects in Marvel Snap. You have to play cards from hand in order to get their battle cries to go off in Hearthstone. So if cheated into play with a Void Caller or some of the deck cheating stuff that Warlock has had access to lately, it's not going to work. You have to play Sargeras, get that portal down for these abilities to do anything, because otherwise there's no Twisting Nether to send minions into. There's no Twisting Nether to pull imps from or Infernals from. So important that it's not going to be cheated out. You're probably going to be spending 9 mana. Of course, there are cost reductions and stuff, but you gotta at least play the card. Now, that said, this is still, I think, a really insane effect for 9 mana. I mean, Twisting Nether is 8. This is a super Twisting Nether for 1 additional mana that leaves behind a 6/12, that leaves behind a crazy, threat that the opponent has to deal with. Like, oh, I can't leave this 6/12. It's going to summon 2 6/6s next turn. And then also gives you an endless army of imps as well. So if a game is ever going to go to turn 9 and you anticipate the game going any turns longer, Sargeras becomes this absolutely insane card. He is a long-term value engine thanks to the imps, and he is a super powerful immediate board swing thanks to the Void. So if you're desperate, you need a board clear, boom, 2 the Void's amazing. If you just need to develop a crazy wall of stuff, you get a 6/12, 2 6/6s, and 2 3/2s off of Sargeras if you need to be threatening. That is an absolutely insane board all at once. Or if you want to really grind people down, you can use Legion Invasion and just get these 3/4 imps forever as well. And we do know there are certainly games in Hearthstone that go beyond turn 9. They're rare, but with Control Priests in particular, there are those kind of control v control matchups where a card like this could extract so much long-term value off of these imps and then hopefully just whittle people and wear people down. Not to mention there are additional sort of imp synergies that are still certainly in standard format that could help you capitalize on these imps even further, kind of maybe fusing together some of those more early to mid game imp synergies alongside Sargeras here as this just like ultimate late game win condition sort of card. So I like this in both more defensive, bigger Warlock shells, maybe even in imp shells. That's a little bit more of a deck building challenge, getting the mana to line up right there, I think, probably to make Sargeras feel good. But just a really big card with crazy strong effects And I am beyond excited to play all of these imps. This is gonna be so fun in duels too with these crazy sort of things. So I think Sargeras is yet again another really powerful Titan. The Primus is a 4-star card. Sargeras is a 5-star card. Yeah, man, these Titans, dude, some of these just seem so good and crazy. Maybe I'm like, you know, a little caught up in how much I love these characters and just the like size and scale of it all, but I don't know, dude. Some of these look really crazy nuts, and kind of win conditions on their own are just enormous onboard swings. Sargeras is kind of both of those in one, so it looks really, really fun, whatever the case. Curious to hear your thoughts on all these cards. Do you think these are going to be good enough? Are they just too expensive for Hearthstone? That's the one fear, right? Is just all of this is pretty high mana, but hopefully we get into a world where these Titans are awesome and playable and cool. But curious to hear if you think that'll happen or not in the comments below. Thanks much as always for watching, and until next time, game on.